Hello, everyone, and welcome to my channel. Hope everybody's doing well out there. Thanks for tuning in. And this is an educational channel. We get into great theories, concepts, and discoveries that you probably aren't familiar with because they have been suppressed. Um, Somebody out there doesn't want you to know this information, probably because it could improve your physical, mental, or spiritual health, your pursuit of sovereignty. Um, and this is a feature that we do here, number 46, called the Q-tip of the spear. And this is for some of the advanced patriots out there, the ones who I think are at the tip of the spear in terms of the decoding and so on. And just, um, podcasts that I've listened to over the last little while that have given me some inspiration to talk about on here. And yeah, I think, a lot of things that I say are kind of maybe obvious, or they're things that people know, but maybe need to be reminded. These are things that I need to be reminded. I definitely know these things, but sometimes I forget. You get carried away. But, what's going on out there in the info war is just, it's just kind of absurd. And you just have to, I think, kind of ignore it because you just can't get sucked into what Candace Owens or Tucker Carlson or, um, any of these like really, famous and rich people who are flip-flopping or who are um, being maligned in the rest of the info war, Mike Flynn or this guy Joe Kent. um, I would I venture to guess that they're probably all at least gray hats, if not white hats, and that this is all another op, and the op is just to kind of get this narrative out into the mainstream public. So, in other words, all of this is not for you. This is not your um, this is not for your eyes. You don't need to know any of this because this is already, part of your working, um, you know, inventory. It's for people who are coming around a little bit late and who pay attention to more crass and um, you know more sensationalist um, journalism, and or narratives. And so this is out there to kind of I think get people on board with ideas that there's something you know with this little country in the wretched desert that um, they seem to be pulling a lot of the strings, and some of the people are calling that out. Where prior to fairly recently, that was verboten, but now people are calling it out, and so it can kind of start a little bit of a nationwide discussion about what are we going to do with these people. The when I'm really referring to just the government there. Um, although I'm sure that there are a lot of the people that are there that, go along with it too, but certainly not all. Um, but, what are we going to do here um, with these people who are trying to control, um, our political bodies and our, governing bodies through subterfuge? I know that there are a number of different nations that are doing this, and it's not really any nations. It's the deep state of every nation, more or less. And so it's no nation, but they go under various nations, and they have certain of the nations have certain identities or maybe certain ops that they are specialized in, certain specializations. And these guys are, pretty specialized in terms of false flags, intelligence, and you, you know, um, honeypots, um, compromat. These are this is the MO of the um, Mossad and Israel, which is maybe even just a proxy for the crown, royal crown, and of our parent country. And so, you know, I would just say the long and the short of it is, don't get, pay attention, but don't get wrapped up in all that because it's not for our consumption. It's for a different group of people's consumption. And so you can watch that play along. Now, I wouldn't get your popcorn out and watch it with your popcorn. Instead, watch it when you're, at the gym, and watch it, um, between your meditation sessions. Watch it, um, you know, um, but at the same time, keep yourself ready, um, and get more ready. Get ready for more red pilling. That's what's going to be necessary. We're way too naive going into this. Um, you know, the red pilling that has been done has been on a fairly shallow level, and it needs to go all the way to the core. Um, and so we got a lot of work to do. We may defeat the globalists, but the victory will be a Pyrrhic one unless we're ready to move forward on our own. And we're not ready to do that unless we have dealt with and kind of reckoned with our, uh, our unseen conditionings, the things that we grew up believing in. And those things are all psyops, just like everything else. I think we've started to recognize that everything is a psyop, and everything that I believed growing up has been a lie. Well, it's easier to say that than to actually kind of embody it. And that's the step that we need to take right now to to recognize the truth of that statement and to do something about it, to dig into our conditionings and figure out what those psyops, what the nature of those psyops are, and root them out. It might be a little bit painful, just like the red pilling that you've already done has been painful, but it has been very rewarding in the long run. And the truth always wins out. It's always better to know the truth, in spite of the fact that sometimes the truth hurts. Okay, we're just going to leave it right there for today. Thanks for tuning in. Like, share, subscribe, comment, contribute, and check me out next time for the Q-tip of the spear.